What's up, guys? Today's video is going to be a quick one, and it's going to be a fun one because we're going to be talking about great country music, and that always puts me in a good mood. In this video, I want to cover 3 excellent country albums that have come out in the beginning part of this year, which has already had some amazing music. And in between each of them, or after each of them, I guess, I'm going to talk about just a song that I'm really loving as well. These things are kind of under the radar, and so I just wanted to put them on your radar and say this is some of the best country music I've been listening to right now. And if you think that the music in this video is something that you kind of vibe with, go check out a video I posted a couple weeks ago called like the best top shelf country artists right now, because that's filled with artists releasing music pretty recently as well that you might also enjoy. First album I want to talk about is called The Dream by Hailey Whitters.
I should be married by now, 2 kids and a paid for.
Hailey Whitters is a revered songwriter and performer in Nashville. She has been putting in her time for a long time to become a successful recording artist, and the album starts in that kind of angsty place with a song called 10-Year Town, where she says, I'm 12 years into a 10-year town. If you didn't know, a lot of people in Nashville say it takes about 10 years to become a success. She's saying, I've been working at it harder.
Waiting tables another month, waiting on that break.
She says, the new it girl got off the bus. She cut it right in front of the rest of us. I need longer lashes and a shorter dress to be that overnight success. I thought this year I'd wear that crown. I'm 12 years into a 10-year town. The songwriting on this record is sharp throughout. She writes with really talented songwriters like Brandy Clark, Jessie Jo Dillon, and Lori McKenna, my very favorite songwriter. So Lori McKenna's touch is definitely on this record, and I feel like, look, if Lori is saying that you are someone to look out for, if she's saying you're a good songwriter, you're probably a pretty freaking good songwriter. What I really like about the songwriting on this album is that it just kind of sits you in the uncertainty of life moments. I don't feel like Hailey is trying to paint a prettier picture than things actually are ever. She's just sort of looking around her and being honest about how she's feeling. Sometimes she's feeling lonely, like on a song called Red Wine and Blue, where she's like, I'm all dressed up with nowhere to go, getting drunk in the afternoon.
Burgundy's on the vine. Singing Patsy Cline.
Other times she's feeling angry on songs like The Faker, which starts with this killer opener. He bought me diamonds, that's all I'll say. They were rhinestones, plastic and paste. If you're a word nerd, you're gonna like this album. So many fun little words on here. A song like Loose Strings really embraces the uncertainty she's feeling in a relationship. And then there are moments of kind of calm, composed reflection on here as well. I'm talking about a song called Heartland, about needing to go back home and needing to let your heart land, but it's also thrown a bone to the fact that she's from Iowa. She's from the heartland of America. Then there's another real standout song on this album called Janice at the Hotel Bar, in which Hailey is just talking to an old lady at a bar.
Be careful with the truth, girl, but don't you ever lie.
And the details about this woman crack me up. They're so descriptive. It's so funny. It says, she'll cuss like a sailor. She ain't afraid to fight. She mows her own lawn and talks on her landline. She's got a granddaughter, still single. Can't say she's surprised. Eats sardines by the can and berries from a vine. I mean, that one line, has a granddaughter that's still single, can't say she's surprised. There's so much in it. There's so much in it. Tells a whole freaking story in one line. Hailey's voice actually reminds me a lot of Casey Musgrave's voice. There's a sort of thinner tone to it, but it makes it a really immediate sound, almost kind of how like Tenille Townes delivers things. There's a few moments on here where I do feel like the album drags. I know she wrote the song Happy People, but now having heard it on Little Big Town's album and Lori McKenna's album, I'm like, I'm done with the song Happy People. I never liked it that much to begin with, but really any complaints I have are pretty darn minor. I think it's a really finely crafted album, and I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 and say that you should check it out. And now it's time for one of these bonus song shout-outs, and this one's going to American Aquarium's new single, The Long Haul.
I'm in it for the long haul. I'm here until the work's done.
American Aquarium is one of my absolute favorite bands. Losing Side of 25, anthem of my, 20s. Their last album, Things Change, one of the most excellent albums. It was even at the top of my list in 2018. And this new single, Long Haul, continues the tradition of awesome output from this band. Lead singer BJ Barham is one of the best songwriters working in all of music today. He is incredibly honest. He is one of those artists that has gotten sober and that has turned him into an incredibly honest and reflective person in his music. And this song kind of deals with sobriety. It's about being committed to something for the long haul. I actually really like the juxtaposition of this against that song, One Day at a Time. The early idea of sobriety is like, let's just take this one day at a time. And yet, when you start to add up all those days, you really do see, I'm in it for the long haul. And I feel like that's what this song is about. I'm committed to making good music. I'm committed to sobriety. I'm committed in my relationship. American Aquarium is a band that, in an interesting way, really values hard work. They have a whole song called Tough Times Don't Last, Tough Folks Do. I think their merch even mentions working hard. And on this new song, The Long Haul, it's certainly present as well, as is a bunch of gorgeous music. They bring in a little bit of organ sounds on this one, as well as an awesome steel solo. You know, right when you think the song is over, it just comes in with this lush, beautiful steel solo, and it's gorgeous. Next album I want to talk about is the debut album from the Texas supergroup, the Panhandlers.
I am just a man in the middle of this band. I got no handle on what I'm doing here.
The Panhandlers are a new band that is comprised of 4 real staples of the Texas country scene. We've got Josh Abbott from the Josh Abbott Band, William Clark Green, Cleto Cordero from Flatland Cavalry, and John Bowman, I think I'm saying that right, who is an extremely talented singer and songwriter himself. I always say this, but I first discovered him when Kenny Chesney's song Gulf Moon came out, and I was like, who the hell wrote this incredible song with all of these proper nouns, all of this imagery of Galveston? And it was John Bowman, and I have had him on my radar ever since. Now, I talked about this when I reviewed The Highwomen, but there is an element of any supergroup where maybe me personally as a listener, I kind of hold them at arm's length. I'm like, am I sure I want to commit to this? Are they going to make more than one album? Do I really want to invest in them as a band? Because it can feel like a little bit of a gimmick. And that definitely was my mindset going into the Panhandlers record as well. But I actually found it really, really easy to get into because they created a true cohesive project. This does not feel like songs that each person kind of had sitting in their catalog that they didn't know what to do with, so they just slapped them together. This feels like a thematic record about West Texas.
This flatland life in a South Plains dream.
About the flatlands and about the strange kind of forgottenness of that place, the ability to overthink the world and feel lonely and pensive when you're kind of going crazy out in the flatlands of the panhandle of Texas by yourself. Lyrically, I feel like the band really committed to writing words that evoked West Texas, writing about cattle barons and railroad ties and prickly pears and tumbleweeds and canyons, and every inch of this record feels different.
I ain't crying, that's West Texas in my eye.
You know, these aren't things that I'm seeing every day in my regular life in Virginia, and what I think is really cool is these aren't even things that people that live in Dallas or something are necessarily going to relate to as well. It feels super regional. It feels like a cowboy record of people sitting around the campfire singing songs. And I think that's reflected musically as well. They recorded this with Charlie Robison. It's got a really Western vibe to it. There's dobro throughout here. There's a little bit of banjo. There's a bunch of steel, and it creates such a vibe. There's such poetry on this record, and I think both John Bowman and Cleto Cordero have that poetic style about them. Let me just read you a tiny bit of the lyrics from a song called Panhandle Slim that's describing a cowboy. Through tired eyes he dreams of girls from the city and the smell of myrtle perfume. As he looks to the stars he sings a few bars to the lonesome man in the moon. How horses need water and cotton needs rain. Cowboys need love or they'll drive you insane. It sure gets lonesome here out on the plains, and it hurts to cry with dry eyes. I mean, it's romantic. It's beautiful. I also love the song West Texas Girl, and I really enjoy the song This Is My Life that Josh Abbott wrote, which features a kind of introduction to the band, a breakdown of all the band members where he says stuff like, Cleto's a poet and we all know it, which is kind of dumb, but kind of fun. It reminds me of the band intro of S Club Party by S Club 7.
Tina's doing her dance. John's looking for romance.
All in all, I just think this record is cool. I think it totally works. I enjoy the commitment to their setting, the fun they're having with it, also the sort of Western, lonesome, South Plains vibes of it. So overall, I would give it a 7.8. Actually, let's raise that up a little bit. I went camping this weekend, and I feel like that's too low of a score because this was the perfect soundtrack for that trip, so let's give it like an 8.2 instead. Something I super enjoyed, and I think you will too. And now for another one of these little bonus recommendation songs. This is not technically a country song. It was on a pop record that came out last year, but it's now been released acoustically. I'm talking about Nothing Good Comes Out of California by Maddy Poppy.
They say traffic there is a perfect mess. How you get around's anybody's guess.
I freaking love this song. I loved it the second I heard it last year. It is a co-write with Topher Brown and Tom Douglas, House That Built Me, Tom Douglas, and Maddy Poppy, who won American Idol a few years ago and is just phenomenally talented as a writer and vocalist. This is a song that is building a bridge between the heartland and California, places that are often pit against each other. Maddy Poppy is from Iowa, just like Hailey Whitters. I think I like Iowa songwriters. And she's saying that all her hometown is like,
nothing good comes out of California.
They're gonna destroy you out there. They don't know the words of the Star Spangled Banner. They all have purple hair. But Maddie is kind of responding to them and saying like, I need to prove them wrong. I need to write something great and show them that something good does come out of California, because her perspective has been stretched by being out there and realizing, no, I like this place and I like these people. I think this song is totally gorgeous, and I think actually the production of this new acoustic version really suits the thoughtfulness of this lyric, which I think is a country lyric. I think they could go even further, really countrify this. I just think it's awesome. And then let's talk about Your Life is a Record by Brandy Clark.
I used to wanna be a cowboy. I used to wanna be.
Brandy Clark is another super revered songwriter within Nashville that isn't necessarily well known as a country star in her own right, except by people that, you know, are big nerds about the country music scene, like all of us here. Her debut album, 12 Stories, was a real critics' favorite. She actually got to perform on the Grammys that year. There was so much buzz around it. She released another follow-up album called Big Day in a Small Town that was, again, critics' favorite, but not a commercial success. And so now for her third go-round, she's putting out this album, Your Life is a Record. And to my ear, it is a huge step up in her storytelling ability because it's a lot more personal.
We both been burned, but we're still gonna play.
You can feel it in the delivery. You can feel it in the words. It's confessional in a way. And she has said in press for the album that she got out of like a 15-year relationship right before making this record, and I think you can kind of feel that pain and realness in the words. Now, she produced this album with Jay Joyce, and you probably know him for his louder electric sounds with acts like Eric Church and Brothers Osborne, but she went entirely acoustic for this record, and they ended up bringing in this really gorgeous kind of Nashville sound, classic feel to it. This whole album feels really classy. It kind of gave me vibes of Mike and the Moonpies record from last year. There's strings on this, there's flute on it, there's accordion on here. It just feels really different and unusual in a really good way. The breakup vibes come through loud and clear from the beginning on this record on songs like I'll Be the Sad Song, that compares your life to a record with highs and lows and happy moments and sad moments, and she's just saying, I'll be the sad song. There's something almost pitiful and desperate about that, but also really honest. And it's not all sad and wistful. There's moments on here like Long Walk where it's a little more bitter and angry.
So take a long walk off a real short pier.
I quite enjoy the line, take a long walk off a real short pier, take a cinder block with you as a souvenir. The same theme of moving on that applies to a breakup is also brought into the realm of just regular life as well, and that's something Brandy Clark is so good at just taking mundane details of life and using those to tell a story on two different songs. One is called Bad Car, about a car going bad, and the other that I think is truly gorgeous is a song called Pawn Shop. In Pawn Shop, you have a woman bringing her wedding ring to a pawn shop, and you have an old musician bringing his guitar to a pawn shop, and they're sitting there in the window ready to have a new life, ready to move on, ready to have a new dream as these people sort of Put the Past in the Past, which is actually the name of the closing track on this record. So a really tight thematic record. I could say a lot more about songs on this record, like Can We Be Strangers, which is a real standout, Love Is a Fire, which is gorgeous, but I'd rather you just go check it out, / I don't have enough time right now. I'll give this album like an 8.3. It's not going to be for everyone. It's pretty highbrow, but I freaking love it. And if you are someone that has ever heard Brandy's music before, if you're someone that likes singer-songwriter type stuff, if you're someone that is going through a breakup and you're still kind of sad and angry and lonely, just check it out. And the last bonus song I want to talk about is one that I truly don't know much about. I saw it on the trending page yesterday. I listened to it. I liked it. It's called Se Me Olvidó by Christian Nodal. I'm sure I said it wrong. But this song has this awesome Mexican country mariachi vibe to it, and it has so many views. I've never seen like a country song get 5 million views in its first day on the internet, and so I don't know much about Mr. Christian here, but I would love to know more. If you guys want to tell me who is this guy, this 21-year-old that's apparently making country music, but it's really freaking cool down in Mexico, tell me. And maybe I should spend some time with Google Translate, figure out what he's saying, but I love the sound of this. I love seeing something take off. Very intrigued by this, and so let me know what I don't know, because I'm all ears. So that's it. That's the end of today's video. That's just some music I'm really loving right now. Needed to get it off my chest, get it officially recommended to you. I hope you check some of this stuff out. Let me know what else I should be listening to. We'll do some more pop country stuff next week, but that's it for now. Okay, bye.